keep the lights off the morning. I don't wait for the room to adjust because hesitation always arrives dressed like caution. And I stopped mistaking the two a long time ago. Every breath keeps dragging the next one forward until the verse feels like it's accelerating under its own weight. Every decision cutting another unnecessary step away. Every correction tightening the line instead of slowing it down. I don't carry spare versions of myself into the session. I bring one standard and raise it while I'm moving. People get trapped trying to protect what already worked, but yesterday's answer usually becomes tomorrow's ceiling if you refuse to challenge it. I would rather dismantle something solid and rebuild it stronger than spend another season polishing limits that were never meant to stay. Growth isn't polite, it interrupts routines, tears apart comfortable patterns, and asks whether you're willing to become unfamiliar to yourself before you become undeniable to anybody else. The movement keeps shifting shape before expectation catches up. Every phrase steering into another angle, every internal connection threading through the rhythm without announcing itself. Every lane and opening another climb instead of closing the door. Nothing sits still long enough to become predictable, because predictability is where sharp edges lose their bite. I keep changing the pressure, changing the space, changing the direction inside the cadence until the whole run feels alive. Instead of rehearse, I've seen opportunities disappear while people argued over perfect timing. Watched hesitation spend so long measuring the distance that the finish line became somebody else's starting point. That's why I move with commitment instead of certainty. Certainty belongs to people looking backwards. Commitment belongs to people still writing the next page before the ink on the last one is dry. Every difficult day quietly stripped another illusion away. Taught me that talent gets noticed but endurance gets remembered. That confidence borrowed from applause disappears with the crowd, while confidence built through repetition stays exactly where you left it. I stopped asking whether the climb was worth it, because the climb had already changed me before I reached the top. The cadence keeps rolling without breaking the current. Every sentence feeding another layer, every layer strengthening the momentum underneath it, refusing to waste the breath, repeating what already landed. If the energy feels familiar, reshape it. If the pattern feels obvious, twist it. If the route feels comfortable, make it steeper. Stagnation never arrives wearing a boarding sign. It arrives looking harmless until must disappear. Nothing here depends on luck, staying loyal. Luck wanders, habits don't. That's why I'm back in things that answer every morning the same way, regardless of mood, weather, or opinion. The word doesn't ask whether I feel inspired, it asks whether I'm willing to sharpen another edge, remove another weakness, and keep moving before comfort starts negotiating again. When the last line falls into place, it doesn't sound like an ending. It sounds like another engine catching the next gear, because stopping was never part of the design. Every choice keeps pulling the next one forward. Every improvement refuses to become the final version. Every step demands another beyond it, leaving behind nothing except undeniable progress built through relentless refinement that never once asked the easy road for directions. Walked in with a calm face. Walked in with a calm face. Walked in with a calm face, but the whole place shifted. I was built from the pressure they folded under, while I treated every setback like conditioning. Everybody got opinions till the situation turns critical, and suddenly the confidence missing. I don't waste energy proving I'm different, because the results keep speaking before I even enter the building. Back then they laughed on the vision, sounded bigger than the room could handle. Now the same people watching every move, trying to understand how the plan got assembled. I stayed dangerous with patience, stayed focused through phases, stayed moving through mazes while they kept changing directions, chasing attention, breaking momentum, making excuses and calling it effort. I don't move loud, I move precise. Every step calculated like money on a ledger. Every risk measured, every lesson treasured, every scar turned into something that made me better. You can hear it in the cadence, feel it in the tension, see it in the way they freeze when the name gets mentioned. I don't need validation from strangers, because I already survived situations that would've broken their spirit. Too many actors playing bosses, too many captions pretending they're ruthless, too many chains and watches covering insecurities nobody notices. I can see through the image, see through the gimmick, see through the stories they built for the internet. Because when the pressure arises and the lights disappear, character becomes the only thing left. Now the pace getting faster, the flow getting sharper, the room getting smaller, the target getting larger. Every competitor looking exhausted while I keep adding another chapter, another layer. Another reason they panic whenever they hear that bass through the speaker. I came from the side where nobody expected success, where every dream sounded unrealistic, and every ambition got questioned. So I learned how to build without applause, learn how to win without attention, learn how to stay dangerous in silence while everybody else was busy announcing intentions. Run that back because they missed it. I was never interested in temporary hyper off official status. I wanted something lasting, something massive, something they couldn't copy after watching 4 or 5 minutes. That's the difference, that's the distance between talking and living, between posting and building, between wanting and doing. I was straight pressure, straight motion, straight focus, no slowing, no folding, no hoping. Somebody opened the door because I already kicked mine open. Every doubt got buried, every obstacle carried, every challenge turned into fuel for another level they said was impossible. When they ask what changed, tell them nothing changed except the scale. The hunger stayed, the discipline stayed, the work stayed, the vision stayed. And that's exactly why the scoreboard changed. Yeah. Beat hitting our answer before the echo had somewhere to hide. Every breath pushing another sentence forward until the rhythm stopped. Feeling like separate lines and became one continuous charge. I never learned to wait for permission because permission always arrives after the opportunity has already changed streets. So I built the habit of moving first, correcting fast, tightening every loose edge before doubt even realized it had fallen behind. People keep staring at the finish while ignoring everything that makes the finish possible. They admire the skyline without thinking about the concrete buried underneath it. But foundations don't care whether anybody notices because their whole purpose is to carry weight without asking for applause. That's the mindset I trust, the kind that keeps working after excitement leaves and the room goes quiet because silence is never frightened. Discipline, every different foot stretch, stripped another distraction away into only useful instinct stayed alive. Every unexpected turn wide in the perspective instead of narrowing it. Every closed path quietly revealed another entrance that would have stayed invisible with the first plan at work. Looking back at obstacles never stole momentum, they redirected it. And sometimes a better road only appears after the original one disappears. The cadence keeps folding into itself without repeating yesterday's footprint. Every internal rhyme reaching forward instead of circling back. Every transition stretching the pressure tighter before releasing it into another sequence. Nothing borrowed from the last verse, nothing leaning on familiar shapes. Every movement earning its place because recycled energy fades long before real conviction does. I stop chasing certainty because certainty belongs to hindsight, not to progress. And progress is always demanded another step before the answer became obvious. That's why I trust preparation over prediction, execution over explanation, and consistency over temporary flashes, because those things survive seasons that trends never even notice. The rhythm keeps accelerating without sounding rushed because the control matters more than speed. Every phrase arriving exactly where it needs to before opening another lane. Every decision carrying enough confidence to remove hesitation without pretending hesitation never existed. Real composure isn't the absence of pressure, it's the ability to keep moving while pressure keeps trying to change the conversation. Nothing valuable arrived through comfort. Every advantage grew out of another repetition, another correction, another ordinary hour that looked forgettable until enough of those hours connect together and quietly transformed into undeniable progress. That's why I never underestimate small improvements, because they multiply while people are busy searching for shortcuts that disappear the moment conditions become difficult. I don't compete with distractions because distractions eventually defeat themselves. I compete with unfinished potential, with the version that still exists somewhere ahead, the one demanding cleaner execution, sharper reactions, and higher standards every single day. That race never ends, and that's exactly why it keeps making me better instead of making me comfortable. When everything finally settles, when the opinions drift somewhere else and temporary noise burns itself out, the only thing still standing is the chain of deliberate decisions that never broke. One layer reinforcing the next, one adjustment strengthening another, one relentless movement refusing to surrender its direction, proving that lasting momentum is never built through one explosive moment, but through thousands of disciplined choices that quietly refuse to stop. Yeah. Walked in with a calm face. Walked in with a calm face. Yeah. Walked in with a calm face. Whole place got awkward. They were all talking big till the real work started. I was outside building while they stayed guarded, drawing up dreams but they never departed. I don't relate to the noise they created. I put in the hours and stay concentrated. They wanted attention, I wanted progression. That's why every move that I make gets celebrated. Funny how people get loud when they're distant, suddenly quiet when pressure is present. Claiming they're dangerous, making it famous, but folding a second, the challenge is genuine. I studied the angles, the habits, the patterns, the way that they panic when comfort is absent. I never depended on luck or a shortcut. I built every level through action and practice. Back then they laughed when I mapped out a vision. Now they surprise rise, the division got larger. Every dismissal just added more fuel, and every obstacle sharpened the armor. I kept advancing regardless of weather, regardless of losses, regardless of doubts. Now every room that I step in can feel it, the energy different the moment I'm out there. Too many talkers, not enough walkers. Too many bosses that never built anything. Too many promises floating around, but the proof disappears when it's time to bring evidence. I don't get caught in the performance. I care about progress and permanent leverage. I care about growth that survives every season. No hype that collapses the second it's tested. Every day felt like a race with myself, and I hated the thought of remaining the same. Watching the clock while improving the craft and refining the parts that were needing to change. They wanted comfort, I wanted momentum. They wanted applause, I wanted development. Now when they look at the distance I've covered, they act like the outcome was somehow irrelevant. Nah, I remember the nights when the lights stayed dim and the odds looked bigger than every ambition. Nobody clapping, nobody watching, nobody caring if I kept the mission. That's why the confidence different. It came from surviving conditions that forced adaptation. Not from a caption, not from approval, not from a temporary validation. I see them chasing a shortcut again, looking for tricks and the magical answers. Skipping the process and wondering later why nothing they touch ever turns into standards. Meanwhile I'm stuck in another improvement, another adjustment, another advancement, making it harder for anybody doubting to question the path that I'm taking. Whole lot of talking, whole lot of posting, whole lot of acting important for cameras, whole lot of flexing with nothing behind it. A castle of smoke disappearing from pressure. I learned to separate real from illusion, substance from surface, results from assumptions. Now every decision is based on execution and not on a random discussion. Hey. Foot on the gas but the focus is steady. Never been desperate, never been messy. Always been ready to level up heavy whenever a challenge was sent to address me. I treat every setback like part of the training, every mistake like a lesson in progress, every delay like a test of my patience, every success like a reason for more steps. Look at the climb and the time and the line and the work and the purpose are finally matching. Years of investment are starting to blossom, and people pretending they knew what would happen. No, they did not, they were watching and doubting, counting me out and expecting a crash. Now they keep watching the borders it changes and wondering how I keep adding to doubt. I got a mindset that's built for the distance, not for a moment, a trend or a season. Not for a headline, not for attention, not for a crowd that's just searching for reasons. Built for the mornings when motivation vanishes, built for the nights when the pressure increases, built for the moments where discipline matters and comfort is begging for pieces. So let them stare and let them compare and let them debate every move that I'm making. I got no time for the drama, I'm focused on building a future that's bigger than statements. Every day stronger, every day sharper, every day closer to something substantial. While they keep circling back to excuses, I'm moving ahead and the gap is exponential. Before the room even settled, I was already halfway through the mission, every breath connected so tightly that the rhythm never had a chance to fall apart. I don't believe in easing into pressure, because pressure is never eased into me. It arrives all at once, so I answer it the same way. The gripe, controlled and relentless, letting every sentence build enough force to shove the next one forward before hesitation can't find somewhere to stand. A lot of people spend years polishing the pyramids while neglecting the engine underneath. They wonder why everything stalls the moment resistance shows up. Shows a different trait, strengthening the parts nobody applauds, sharpening instincts nobody notices, repeating ordinary actions until they stop feeling ordinary and started becoming automatic. That's the hidden advantage nobody can borrow, because it was built one quiet decision at a time. The rhythm keeps spinning around expectation instead of following it. Every phrase opening another angle before the previous one finishes, echoing every internal connection, tightening the movement without leaning on familiar patterns. I don't recycle yesterday, because yesterday already spent its value. I dismantle and keep the useful pieces and rebuild something stronger that refuses to fit inside the same outline twice. I learned that impatience usually disguises itself as ambition, but real ambition survives slow progress without losing direction. That's why I never confuse speed with urgency. Urgency, panic, speed stays organized. One wastes energy proving itself, the other quietly reaches the destination before anyone realizes it already left. Every difficult season refine judgment more than success ever could. Success celebrates difficulty, educates success, invites attention. Difficulty demands adaptation. That's why I stop avoiding resistance and started studying it, because every obstacle quietly revealed another weakness before that time to become permanent, giving me another chance to replace fragile habits with stronger ones. The cadence keeps flowing without interruption, every sentence feeding another layer, every transition tightening the pressure instead of releasing it, never falling in the predictable loops, never repeating the same landing, because familiarity slowly steals impact. I'd rather surprise the rhythm than become trapped inside it. Nothing worthwhile was built through convenience. Every improvement required another adjustment, another comfortable repetition, another ordinary day where the work looked too small to matter. Those are the days that change everything, because nobody competes seriously when the reward isn't immediate. That's where separation begins. Inside hours, most people are willing to trade away. I don't chase validation, because validation depends on someone else's timing. I chase refinement, because refinement depends entirely on my own decisions. One disappears with changing opinions, the other compounds with every deliberate action, until the difference becomes visible without needing an explanation. When the final line lands, the point isn't that the pressure disappeared, it's that the pressure no longer controls the direction. The rhythm stayed connected from beginning to end. Every decision reinforced the next one. Every adjustment strengthened the structure, and every step refused to become the last one. Because lasting momentum isn't built through dramatic moments, it's built by refusing to let discipline loosen its grip even once. I hit the first beat like it already owned me time, never slowing down long enough for hesitation to catch a glimpse. Every breath stitched directly into the next, until the whole verse moved like a single uninterrupted surge. Not chasing intensity, but generating a night, asking whether the pressure would rise, but assuming it always would, and building every line to carry more weight than the one before. Some people spend the best years trying to avoid friction, without realizing friction as the only thing polishing the edge they're looking for. I stopped treating resistance like an obstacle and started treating it like a sharpening stone, because every difficult decision leaves something behind if you're willing to look closely enough. Easy days rarely teach anything beyond comfort, but uncomfortable days rewrite instincts that stay useful long after the memory fades. I don't revisit old victories because they belong to a version of me that's already expired. Every sunrise demands another standard, another adjustment, another reason to refuse yesterday's ceiling. Growth isn't loud when it's happening, it sounds like another repetition, another correction, another choice nobody else notices, until the distance becomes impossible to deny. The rhythm keeps folding into unfamiliar shapes, every phrase creating another opening before expectation settles. Every internal rhyme reinforcing movement without announcing itself. Every transition refusing to rest where the last one landed. Familiar patterns become comfortable, comfortable patterns become slow, and slow reactions eventually become missed opportunities. So I rebuild the cadence before it has time to become predictable. I've seen people mistake momentum for speed, sprinting through noise, only to discover they never moved any closer to the objective. I learned to separate urgency from direction. One burns energy, the other multiplies it. That's why every step has a purpose before it has a pace. Every decision earns its place before it earns its distance, and every improvement gets tested before it earns permanence. Nothing lasting has ever been built from convenience. Every worthwhile change demanded another uncomfortable conversation with myself, another habit abandoned, another assumption replaced, another weakness exposed before it became permanent. That's why I don't fear discovering flaws, ignoring them has always been more expensive than fixing them. The flow keeps stretching without breaking, every sentence feeding another layer of pressure, every breath carrying enough momentum to launch the next idea before the previous one disappears. No empty decoration, no borrowed confidence, no recycled structure pretending to be innovation. If the energy starts feeling familiar, it changes. If the pattern becomes obvious, it bends. If the standard gets reached, it moves. I don't waste time measuring my progress against passing trends, because trends change direction whenever attention does. I'd rather compete against the version of myself that still hasn't been built yet, the one demanding cleaner execution, stronger focus, and higher expectations every single day. That pursuit never runs out of ground, because improvement always creates another horizon. When the final line lands, the verse doesn't feel complete, because completion was never the goal. It feels like another piece locking into something larger, another deliberate step inside a sequence that refuses to lose momentum, proving that real strength isn't found in one explosive moment, but in the discipline to keep pushing forward after the excitement has already disappeared. Started without yeah. Started with doubt in the air, in a room full of people convinced I would never go far. Now they're revisiting every opinion they made when they thought I was chasing a star. Funny how confidence changes the language of people who swore that the mission was flawed. Now they keep watching the scoreboard and wondering why I keep raising the bar. I was invisible back when the effort was heavy. Nobody cared for the outcome. Building the future from pieces and pressure while carrying weight that would bury a loud one. Every delay became part of the blueprint. Every mistake became part of the knowledge. Every rejection was adding a layer of strength and expanding the size of the target. They wanted comfort and safety and certainty. I wanted growth and uncertainty. I wanted days where the challenge was bigger than anything sitting in front of me currently. That's why the hunger is different, the energy different, the focus is locked and persistent. I never depended on luck or approval. I built it through repetition and distance. Whole lot of talking and claiming and framing themselves as the greatest to ever appear. Whole lot of posing and hoping the image survives when the pressure is suddenly near. I see through every performance, every distortion, every attempt at importance. Cause when it's time to produce something real, all the noise disappears without warning. I got no interest in copying ways or repeating the formula somebody invented. I'd rather be building a lane from the ground and be trapped in a trend that was already ended. Look at the way that they follow each other, recycling ideas and calling it progress. Meanwhile I'm taking a risk every day and converting that risk into something impressive. Back when they laughed I was learning. Back when they doubted I stayed in the process. Back back when they slept, I was turning frustration and setbacks into an asset. Now every step got precision, every decision got purpose behind it. Every objective gets treated like something that absolutely has to be conquered. I don't move reckless, I move with direction. I move with intention and clear expectations. I study the patterns, the habits, the cycles that keep people stuck in the same situation. Then I broke out of every limitation they handed me, wrapped as a reasonable statement. Now they keep asking what changed, and I tell them the answer was simple: dedication. Nothing was given, nothing was gifted, nothing was handed directly to me. I had to earn every inch of the position and every opportunity currently seen. That's why the mindset is different, cause I remember the days when the vision existed, but nobody else could see it. Too many waiting for perfect conditions, too many searching for magical timing, too many talking about future success while avoiding the work that success is requiring. I got tired of hearing excuses repeated and dressed up as logical thinking, cause every excuse gets weaker the second a person decides that they're willing. Now when I enter the room there is tension, these people can sense what I'm bringing, not because I'm loud but because of the standard that's shown in the work I'm delivering. Excellence leaves an impression, consistency leaves its signature pattern, and once you establish that level repeatedly, everybody notices it happens. Every year sharper, every year smarter, every year harder to catch from behind. Cause while they're debating and hesitating, I'm already improving 100 more times. Every day counts and I'm counting them all, treating each hour like part of the climb, knowing that small improvements repeated for years become something impossible to hide. So keep the opinions and keep the assumptions and keep every comment you wanted to throw. None of it changes the path that I'm on or the pace that I'm choosing to go. I got my eyes on the future, my hands on the work and my focus intact. And every prediction they made about failure keeps breaking apart when confronted with facts. Built from persistence, driven by purpose, fueled by a vision, too vivid to quit. Learn it the loudest, so rarely the strongest, and proof is the language that actually hits. Now I keep moving with calm determination while others get caught in the theater and hide. Cause at the end of the day, only results decide who was talking and who was right. I don't wait for the atmosphere to settle, because silence has never signed my schedule. The first breath already carries enough momentum to drag the next dozen behind it. Every sentence folding into another before the previous one is finished landing. No wasted space, no borrowed energy, just a constant climb where every decision arrives already committed and every correction happens in motion instead of after the opportunity disappears. Some people spend their whole life protecting a version of themselves that stopped growing years ago, afraid that changing direction means admitting the old map was wrong. But I learned that evolution doesn't apologize for replacing what no longer works. If a habit loses its edge, it gets rebuilt. If an idea reaches its limit, it gets expanded. If a ceiling starts feeling familiar, it becomes the floor for the next chapter before comfort has time to unpack its bags. The movement never follows a straight line, because reality never does. It bends, stretches, doubles, back and tests every assumption. You forget the questions, so I stopped expecting clean answers and started trusting clear thinking. Every unexpected turn sharpens awareness, every interruption reveals another blind spot. Every adjustment leaves the process lighter than it was before, and eventually flexibility becomes stronger than certainty ever could. The cadence keeps reshaping itself underneath the surface, every phrase unlocking another layer without echoing the one before it. Every internal connection strengthening the motion instead of announcing itself. Every transition carrying enough force to erase the need for artificial pauses. If predictability starts knocking, I change the angle before it reaches the door, because repetition without discovery slowly drains the life out of momentum. Nothing valuable survives untouched. Every worthwhile skill asked to be questioned again, refined again, challenged again, because the moment something stops evolving, quietly starts fading. That's why I never mistake familiarity for mastery. Mastery isn't standing still on top of the hill, it's rebuilding the path while you're already climbing it. People often, confidence comes from always being right, but real confidence comes from recovering quickly when you're wrong. That's the difference. One depends on perfect conditions, the other survives imperfect ones. I'd rather own a mindset that keeps adapting than one that collapses the first time the script changes. Halfway through the scene, every sentence keeps extending the pressure without losing clarity. Every breath pushing another sequence into place, every section widening the horizon instead of circling. No ground, nothing recycled, nothing leaning on nostalgia, nothing protected simply because it succeeded once before. The standard keeps moving because standing still has never been part of the agreement. Don't chase easy victories, because easy victories rarely teach lasting lessons. I'd rather collect difficult improvements that continue paying long after the excitement fades. One deliberate adjustment after another until the distance between intention and execution becomes almost impossible to notice. That's where the real separation happens, quietly, consistently, and without needing anyone else's approval. When the final line lands, it doesn't sound like an ending. It sounds like another door unlocking somewhere further ahead. Another opportunity demanding a sharper version of the same relentless mindset. Another reminder that progress isn't something you finally reach, it's something you protect every single day by refusing to let yesterday become good enough for tomorrow. Waiting for the signal, I step through the noise before the room even catches the tempo. Every breath connected, every sentence dragging the next one fall like a chain under full tension. No empty space to hide inside, no loose words floating around looking for purpose. Everything lands with intent because hesitation has never paid a single bill and doubt has never finished the race. They spend the energy protecting an image that falls apart the first time pressure knocks. I spend mine reinforcing the frame until pressure becomes another piece of the structure, another weight to carry, another reason to tighten the grip instead of loosening it. The louder the room gets, the quieter my head becomes because panic always wastes time explaining itself. Why at least the plan has already finished the job and moved on. Every move compounds into another move, every correction sharpens another instinct. Every mistake gets stripped down until the useful parts are all that's left. I don't carry yesterday's failures into today's decisions because dead weight slows momentum and momentum is too valuable to trade for regret. If something breaks, rebuild it stronger. If something works, refine it again. Standing still is just another way of moving backwards with better excuses. The cadence keeps twisting through fresh angles. Every internal rhyme pull another one into place before the last impact fades. Every transition climbing instead of settling. Every phrase refusing to land where expectation wants it to. Predictability is comfortable, but comfort has never produced anything dangerous enough to leave a mark. So I keep shifting the pattern before it turns into habit and keep raising the pressure before the rhythm gets a chance to breathe. People chase recognition like it's the finish line, then wonder why it disappears the moment attention changes direction. I don't build for attention, I build for endurance because endurance survives empty rooms, slow seasons, closed doors, and long nights when nobody is keeping score except the voice in your own head asking whether you're still willing to push one step further. Every obstacle arrive with a different face, but the same intention is for the pace to interrupt the sequence to convince me that one pause wouldn't matter, but pauses become patterns if you feed them long enough. So I cut them off early and let action answer every question before doubt even finished asking it. That's why the rhythm never slips, because every decision is already leaning toward the next one before the last one reaches the ground. Nothing here is borrowed, every layer earned through repetition, every improvement carved out of ordinary days that look too small to matter until enough of them stacked together and changed everything. That's how real progress grows, quietly, relentlessly, without asking for permission or applause. Another clean decision replacing another average one, until average can't find a place to stand anymore. By the time the final line lands, the pressure hasn't disappeared, it's just changed size. Now we're chasing everyone still standing still while I'm already moving into the next chapter with the same focus, the same discipline, and the same refusal to let momentum break. Because the strongest runs aren't remembered for one explosive moment, they're remembered for never giving the rhythm a reason to stop. First impact lands before the room decides how to react. Every breath driving straight through the pocket until the cadence feels less like performance and more like controlled acceleration. I don't arrive looking for an opening because openings disappear while people hesitate. I create one by refusing to let uncertainty occupy the same space as intention. Every decision already committed before the question has time to finish asking itself. Too many people mistake visibility for value, chasing whatever catches the eye while ignoring what survives after attention leaves. But I've seen enough temporary victories vanish to know durability is built somewhere much quieter. It grows inside repeated choices, inside honest corrections, inside the willingness to tear apart your own habits before life does it for you. And that process never looks impressive until the difference becomes impossible to erase. Nothing around me stays fixed for long. The landscape shifts, priorities evolve, expectations move further away every time another level gets reached. So I stopped building around comfort and started building around adaptability. If the conditions improve, I improve with them. If they collapse, I keep moving anyway. The environment doesn't dictate the standard dictates how I answer the environment. The flow keeps changing shape before familiarity settles in. Every phrase leaning toward another direction without recycling yesterday's rhythm. Every internal connection creating momentum underneath the surface instead of announcing itself. Every transition widening the movement so the verse never falls back into predictable territory. Repetition with that evolution becomes background noise. Has never changed anything. I don't carry unfinished doubts into finished work because doubt grows stronger every time it's left unanswered. Instead I cut through it immediately, replacing questions with action, replacing assumptions with evidence, replacing hesitation with another completed step. That's how confidence actually forms, not through loud declarations but through accumulated proof stacked so consistently that uncertainty eventually runs out of arguments. Every difficult chapter forced another upgrade I never would have chosen voluntarily. Looking back, the resistance wasn't standing in my way, it was quietly reshaping the way I move through it. Easy days rarely reveal weaknesses because they never ask enough from you. Hard days expose everything worth rebuilding, and that's exactly why they become more valuable over time instead of less. The cadence keeps pressing forward without leaving gaps. Every sentence reinforcing the next. Every breath carrying enough weight to prevent the momentum from slipping. Every section expanding instead of repeating. If something begins to sound familiar, it gets rebuilt. If something becomes comfortable, it gets challenged. Growth has no interest in preserving yesterday's limits simply because they once felt impressive. I'll never measure the journey by temporary reactions, because reactions belong to the moment, while refinement belongs to every moment that follows. One disciplined decision becomes another. One improvement unlocks the next. One sharpened instinct removes another unnecessary hesitation, until the process itself becomes the advantage. Nobody can imitate by copying the surface. When the final line settles, nothing really ends, because the objective was never to finish louder than everyone else. It was to leave behind a sequence so deliberate, so connected, and so relentlessly refined that every completed step naturally demands another one, making progress feel less like an achievement and more like the only direction worth moving. The beat barely touched the floor. The beat barely touched the floor. The beat barely touched the floor before I tore straight through it. No warm-up, no second thoughts, no empty gestures, pretending to be confident. Every breath flooded with intent, every sentence driving then into the next one, until the whole verse felt like a chain under tension that refused to snap. I don't stand around waiting for moments to become perfect, because perfect moments usually belong to people who arrive too late. I read a move while the edges are still rough, and sharpen them at full speed, and waste another hour polishing an opportunity that already left the room. I stop measuring progress by how loud the reaction sounded, because reactions disappear the second another distraction shows up. But silent word keeps collective value in silence, layer after layer, decision after decision, until people suddenly call it overnight success without ever seeing the years buried underneath it. That's the part I trust, the invisible foundation nobody celebrates, until they realize everything standing above it would've collapsed without it. Every challenge tried to slow the rhythm but ended up strengthening, and instead every unexpected turn forced another adjustment. Every adjustment tightened another weakness. Every weakness turned into another reason to push harder. I don't waste energy asking why the road changed. I'll waste even less pretending the old map still matters. Turn it up, redraw the route, lock the direction back in, and keep moving before hesitation finds somewhere to settle. Cadence keeps folding over itself every end, turn around, feeding another sequence. Every phrase landed with enough force to launch the next one forward. No recycle structure, no borrow momentum, no dead air hiding between the bars. If the energy drops, rebuild it. If the pattern becomes predictable, break it. If the pressure rises, answer it with cleaner execution instead of louder emotion. People love shortcuts, and the shortcuts collect interest, and suddenly every easier decision becomes tomorrow's problem. I learned a pitiful price up front, repetition after repetition, correction after correction, refining the process until instinct arrived before panic even knew the door was open. That's why I don't flinch when conditions shift, because preparation already solved half the problem before the situation appeared. The standard keeps moving, even standing still has never been part of the agreement. Every improvement creates another target, every achievement removes another excuse. Every difficult season strips away another unnecessary habit, until only discipline remains. That's the version I trust, the one that keeps working after motivation goes quiet, the one that keeps building after applause has already found somebody else. Nothing here depends on trends, because trends change direction with the wind. I before pressure for distance, for the days when everything gets heavier, and the only thing still carrying the weight is the system built long before anybody started watching. That's where separation happens, not through one dramatic moment, but through refusing to lower the standard when lowering it would be easier. By the time the final word lands, there isn't anything left to explain, because the rhythm already proved the point. One relentless decision connected to another, one clean adjustment replacing the last. One uninterrupted surge from the opening breath to the closing line, never giving hesitation enough room to breathe, never letting momentum loosen its grip, and never mistaking noise for strength when precision can hit harder every single time. I never wait for the room to catch up, because hesitation grows roots the longer you stare at it. So the first breath already carries enough force to pull the next 10 behind it. Every thought colliding with another before the echo has a chance to settle. Every movement cutting away another layer, wasting motion until only attention remains. The pace doesn't come from rushing, it comes from refusing to leave empty space where uncertainty can make itself comfortable. I've watched people spend years building stories about what they were going to become, while quietly avoiding the work that would've made those stories believable. I chose the opposite direction, strip away the performance, keep the substance sharp, and the habits repeat until the routine becomes stronger than the mood. Feelings rise and fall like weather, but a practiced hand doesn't ask the sky for permission before it starts moving. Nothing here survives because it sounded impressive once. Every line has to earn its place again. Every decision has to survive another round of pressure. Every improvement gets questioned before it gets accepted, because the quickest way to lose an edge is believing it can't get any sharper. The standard never stands still long enough to become furniture. The moment it does, it gets replaced. The rhythm keeps folding forward instead of circling back. Every internal connection pulling another hidden pattern into focus. Every phrase opening a fresh angle before expectation reaches it. I don't want familiar energy because familiar energy eventually becomes background noise. I'd rather keep the movement alive, unpredictable, and control changing direction inside the cadence without losing balance for a single breath. People talk about confidence as if it appears overnight, but confidence is usually just memory. Wear stronger clothes, it's remembering every difficult day that didn't break you, every adjustment that quietly worked, every lesson that cost too much to ignore. That's why trust experience more than excitement. Experience has already paid the bill. The weight keeps increasing, but so does the capacity to carry it. Since our growth actually feels not light as strong, that the road doesn't become easier. The person walking it simply learns how to waste less energy fighting what can't be changed. Once that happens, resistance loses most of its influence, because adaptation reaches the answer before frustration even finishes asking the question. Every sentence keeps feeding another without releasing the tension. Every transition tightening the grip underneath the rhythm. Every section rebuilding itself instead of borrowing from the last one. If something starts sounding predictable, it gets reshaped immediately. If something feels too comfortable, it gets challenged before comfort turns into limitation. Progress has no interest in standing beside complacency. I don't chase moments because moments disappear. I chase refinement because refinement compounds. One cleaner decision today makes tomorrow's choice easier than the next one, stronger than the next one, faster, until discipline quietly becomes the loudest thing in the room without ever needing to raise its voice. When the final word lands, it doesn't feel like a finish because nothing valuable ends with one verse. It feels like another doorway opening, another standard waiting to be tested, another reminder the real momentum isn't created by one explosive performance, but by an endless sequence of deliberate choices that refuse to lower themselves, no matter how heavy the pressure becomes. Crash through the beat like the ceiling collapsed. Every bar hits first, never asking permission. I don't knock on the door, I remove the whole frame. Every second compressed onto the pressure starts folding in on itself. They keep talking about timing while I'm already 3 decisions ahead, building another layer before the first one even settles. No wasted motion, no wasted breath. Every word sharpened enough to leave a mark the moment it lands. You can keep chasing noise, I'm chasing precision, because noise disappears when the room changes. Precision survives every room it enters. I don't carry hesitation, I'll bury it before sunrise. I don't negotiate without an outwork it until it forgets my name. Every setback gets stripped for parts, every mistake gets rebuilt into another advantage. Every difficult mile gets turned into another weapon for the next stretch of road. The cadence keeps snapping tight, every internal rhyme locking into another one before the listener even catches the last pattern. Every phrase driving forward with enough force to drag the next one behind it. No recycled angles, no borrowed confidence, no empty decoration pretending to be substance, just relentless pressure from the first syllable to the last one. Everybody wants to highlight without surviving the process. Everybody wants the crown without carrying the weight. Everybody talks about hunger until the table stays empty. Then excuses suddenly become louder than ambition. I cut excuses out early because they multiply faster than progress. If you leave them alone, and I never built anything worth keeping by, giving weakness another place to sit. Every move is deliberate, every pivot calculated, every correction immediate. I don't leave problems alive long enough to become habits. I don't leave loose ends waiting for tomorrow, because tomorrow already has enough work of its own while they're still explaining what happened. I've already rewritten the outcome and moved on to the next target without looking back for approval. The rhythm keeps climbing like it's got something personal to prove. Every transition tighter than the last one, every landing harder than expected. Every breath feeding another sequence without dropping momentum for a single second. Control over chaos, structure over panic, execution over emotion, because feelings fade when pressure rises. But discipline keeps showing up even when the room empties. I don't compete with people chasing attention, because attention has the memory of smoke. I compete with yesterday's limits, because limits keep moving every time you refuse to stop. Raise the standard, raise it again, then raise it before the last version even has time to get comfortable. Comfort is expansive, confidence slows reactions, comfort convinces people they arrive when they barely started moving. Nothing here was handed over, every inch carved out through repetition, so relentless. It stopped feeling like work and started feeling like instinct. That's the difference between hoping and knowing. Hope waits, instinct acts, hope asks questions. Instinct creates answers before the question finishes forming. So let the pressure build high, let the pace get faster, let the expectations stack until the ceiling starts shaking, because that's exactly where I work best. I don't step back when the weight increases, I lock my footing deeper, tighten the grip harder, and keep driving forward until resistance runs out before I do, leaving nothing behind except a trail of finished work and another standard that is to be chased instead of copied.